What's up everyone, NCainXCI here, and welcome to the Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly remake demo for the game that is presumably going to be either released by 7 o'clock tonight, I think is the correct release window. Fortunately, I'm not going to be able to get it right off the bat, but I do have a powerful enough setup that I can actually play the fucker. But yeah, unfortunately this is not going to be a, blind on the fly experience. I've already played this demo a number of times. Unfortunately, this game is by default locked at either 30 or 60 FPS, and even the first time I tried it, I didn't have access to Vitaly's initial FPS unlocker. Now Lyall's come out with his more expensive and more corrected FPS unlocker and whatnot. It's currently what I'm using, and by default it actually properly sets up. I have about an 80 FPS limit. So yeah, unfortunately this isn't going to be a fresh experience. I'm still probably going to get unnerved as fuck, because I can, even testing the outer village in this game, I have to pause periodically because just the ambiance and everything else still fucking gets to me. Keep in mind, this is a series that, growing up, I mostly spectated. I didn't have the tolerance to actually play it. So yeah, I'm gonna show some things, some common, very, very annoying gripes I saw on the Steam forums that are very fucking easily addressable. Okay. Control types. Pay attention to the user interface at the bottom right. They could probably rename this to mouse and keyboard, or just literally M and K. I agree with that, but there is in fact mouse and keyboard input buttons. You just have to switch the fucking control type. The sheer number of complaints of people not bothering to check that out has been driving me insane. Just switch the control types. That's the user interface section. Okay. Then obviously control settings, swap that. Crouch, automatically crouch near crouch. Huh. Okay, I will confess I haven't checked absolutely everything, but I have checked the most essential bits so that way I could tell you that. Alright, blah 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 blah. Okay. Here we go. Camera speed. I bumped mine up to 7 for the general camera speed. And then 5 for Obscura. That's been working pretty well for me. For me personally, I mean, change it as you need it, but I felt the need to actually bump mine up quite a few numbers. Okay, as per settings and whatnot. Now, like I said, granted, for me it's mostly, as frustrating as it is to admit, my 5600X is CPU limited for the Katana engine and whatnot. So as you can see, I have my frame rate unlocked but locked to 80. If I had like a 5700X or something like that, I'd probably be able to handle 120 FPS and all settings max fine. But these are the cards that are dealt, and for all intents and purposes I can keep around the 70 to 80 range with limited slow-mo problem and shit like that. As far as I know and I've read, so long as resolution scale is 100, it doesn't matter what kind of resolution scaling you have on, it's negated. Desync off, shadow standard, blah 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 blah. Normally I'm very much a film grain and all that kind of other shit off, but in Fatal Frame's case, I'm not going to necessarily make the argument of you should put it on because it fits the artistic vision. I just personally think it actually fits Fatal Frame's nature, at least, you know, going based off the first two games. That was kind of the point. Like I said, at the end of the day, it's your choice. It's one of a very 0.01% decisions where it really does kind of actually fit the style. I'll have to redo the game after the fact. Okay, so Lyall hasn't fixed that either. With Vitaly's initial FPS unlocker, if you change any of the actual in-game settings itself, it throws off the FPS unlocking. I can just redo the recording and restart the game. It doesn't take that long. And, I mean, pretty much everything else you can leave, though I would encourage you to check the various options amongst other things. Oh, I think I remembered. I can't stand the English voice acting for this game, so I stick with Japanese. Alright. 6. I'll leave that at 8. Bump that up to 10. This is kind of becoming my new norm for for streaming, recording stuff like that. I usually bump the music to about 5 to 6, keep the sound effects at about 7 to 8ish, and then voice volume. And it helps with audio normalizing as well. Alrighty, I'm going to, like I said, I gotta restart the game so that way the FPS gets re-unlocked and whatnot, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, and we are back. I'd also like to clarify an additional point, because it's an argument I see, and I agree with it, even as a principle, that yes, for all intents and purposes, in my eyes, they should patch in either a variable FPS option, or unlocker, whatever the hell, or even additional, 90 to 120 FPS options, something in that wheelhouse. That should be done officially, but at the end of the day, if the capability is there and it can be done, I am all for utilizing community fan efforts as far as performance unlockers and shit like that goes. The onus should be on the developers. I firmly agree with that. But I'm not going to deny myself that extra bit of enjoyment just because it came from the community if the job is well executed. So, just saying. I haven't bothered to actually check the rest of the game yet with Lyall's fix, so I'm assuming cutscenes won't be unlocked past 30 either way. But yeah, if assuming it's anything like Vitaly's, the cutscenes are still presumably going to be locked at 30 FPS. Something I hope also gets patched out at a later point, because even I find that to be fucking ridiculous. Like, I get the Katana engine's limitations. I'm aware of that. But if you've put so much research and development that your cutscenes still get locked at 30, that's not a fashion statement.
お姉ちゃん、いつも約束してたよね。ずっと一緒だって。お姉ちゃん？お姉ちゃん？ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。よくここで遊んだよね。そうだね。ここももうすぐなくなっちゃうんだよね。足大丈夫？痛くない？ちょっとね。でも平気。ねえミオ。なんでもない。お姉ちゃん、早く早く！待って！ミオ、お願い！置いてかないで！お姉ちゃん、私ね、あの時。お姉ちゃん？お姉ちゃん！ したの？行っちゃダメ！お姉ちゃん！お姉ちゃん。お姉ちゃん。
Don't ask about that initial cutscene drop. Either something was going on in the background on my computer or something. Normally that plays through pretty smoothly even while recording. Though I am doing this via NVENC because this game really does not like my normal RTSS and Magic YUV recording. So yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, part of my grumpy explanation of the user interface options and shit like that is precisely because this game's mouse and keyboard support by default is actually pretty startlingly smooth and enjoyable. Like, I thought it was going to be pretty rough around the edges, and honestly, to the point to where I expected it to basically be, how am I trying to say this? I thought it was going to be to a point where it almost forced you to play with the controller anyway.お姉ちゃん？地図から消えた村。 Oh, hey. Hey there, it's cleaner than I remember even with the settings being brought down. The volumetric quality and stuff like that, or... No, it looks better than before. I also recently updated my graphics driver, so... Seems like the minimum is a bit better than usual. Sorry, I'm just I mean, I know this is the Katana engine, what we're talking about here, so I do grant this event. Another thing that's been chapping my ass with the,
お祭りの日に消えた村があって、森で迷った人はその村に誘われるって。ここ、もしかして。
Kinda talk, man. Forgot that she goes into that little spiel. But yeah, I've been seeing, like, frustrated grumblings about the performance and in equation to, like, Resident Evil 9 Requiem and whatnot. of all the comparisons to use, as I had pointed out in a comment to somebody else, that's like judging RE, or not RE, that's like judging Unreal Engine 3 by Unreal Engine 5.7 standards. That's about as unfair to this game as it gets. Katana Engine is nowhere near optimized in and of itself enough to even make that kind of a judgment. And as much as I hate to say it, and it's even been more or less implied by the developers of Katana Engine itself, it's more for expediency and efficiency than for, that grandiose level of visuals and performance. I'm hoping that changes over the next 3 to 5 years, but I'm taking the engine at its face value. Trust me, having, seen the previous entries, seen, both emulated and vanilla visuals over the years, this looks like a proper visual remake upgrade over even the Wii remake. Okay, I have been through this a number of times and that still unnerves the shit out of me.
Mio?
Chapter 1, The Lost Village.
誰かいるのかな?
Investigate the house. As a creative decision, personally, I would remove that initial sound effect, and leave just in the disturbed rumbling and whatnot, because it works better as a mood builder. But that's just me. I'll throw in a section exploring the village later on. I did it the first time. Just the footage that I had grabbed from Magic YUV was basically unusable. News clippings. A pair of clipped newspaper articles printed about a year prior concerning search efforts to find Masumi Makimura, a missing geological surveyor. Geological surveyor goes missing. 26-year-old surveyor by the name of Masumi Makimura has gone missing after being dispatched to conduct work at the construction site of the Minakami Dam. The dam, which had been in the works since last year, is set to submerge parts of the area underwater. Makimura was sent to investigate the impact construction may have on local historical sites and other areas of concern, but has yet to return after 5 days. Search for missing surveyor called off. The search for the missing 26-year-old geological surveyor Masumi Makimura, which began on the 4th of this month, was officially called off yesterday after turning up no leads. Makimura, who had been missing for 10 days prior to the search's cancellation, was surveying the Minakami Dam construction site. I wonder how many people went missing in the process of trying to find the missing person.
誰もいないのかな? 奥へ行ってみる。お姉ちゃん？お姉ちゃん？どうしたの？ わからない。わからない。
This still unnerves the fuck out of me. And by the way, these cutscene frame drops seem to be new. I don't know if it's related to the driver upgrade or not. I was about 2 drivers behind prior to this. Easy there, girl. Yeah, I was about 2 drivers behind prior to this, and cutscenes have otherwise played pretty smoothly outside of the initial just the limitation of the frames itself, which is why I express frustration. There's like a juddering with some of the earlier cutscenes that really bothers me. Okay. Well, let's get the show on the road. I'm right here with you. Yeah. Touch a butterfly lantern to save your progress. Yeah, why not? I swear, just because of the lighting and everything else, I tend to forget that those dolls are there until, like, you know, I get the flashlight and everything, and then I'm just like, I'm even more freaked out because it's just like, do those fucking things appear out of nowhere? Oh, and as per audio, I'm assuming it's because of my USB DAC amp, but yeah, it defaults to surround for me. Alright, flashlight. Well, we seem to be otherwise in a village alone, so try to look for them. Woman's Notebook 1. A notebook appearing to belong to a woman who wandered into Minakami Village. This desperate-looking entry was written rather hastily. If somebody's reading this note, please come find me. I don't care who it is, just help me. I can't get out of this village. Save me. Miyako Sudo. And I'm going to say this as politely as I can. We stupidly have the benefit of numbers here, or well, at least, you know, 2 of us. What the fuck was her excuse? I mean, I can see her body right there. Woman's Notebook 2. A notebook appearing to belong to a woman who wandered into Minakami Village. This entry discusses the stories surrounding Minakami Village, which is said to have vanished from the maps. I remember hearing stories about a village that disappeared from maps. Supposedly, it was because on the day of a big festival a long time ago, tons of people got massacred. But it still exists, and the twin Jizo statues that can be found in the surrounding forest will lure lost people toward it. Once you pass through the gate at the entrance, there's no leaving it. From there, the night of the massacre continues, and the sun never rises. In the midst of all that, I can hear the terrifying laugh of a woman echoing throughout the place. As the stories go, the only survivor in the village that night was, you guessed it, a lone woman. Sufficiently creepy. Like I said, I've been through this a number of times. This is still... my chest is still feeling this. Myogo motif key. A key engraved with the Myogo motif. Okay, found in the kimono room.
どこの鍵かな。
Presumably a room in the house.
誰かに見られているような気がする。
A house this creepy? I would be more creeped out if we weren't being watched. Weird as that sounds to say out loud. Still wigs me out. I completely missed this until like my third test in. Woman's Notebook 4. Notebook appearing to belong to a woman who wandered into the NCainXCI village. The entry talks about the hunting dream she's seen. Okay, you do not need to ride my ass. You'd think I'd be too tense to ever fall asleep in a place like this, but the moment I lose focus, I always seem to pass out. Maybe I'm just that exhausted. In my dreams, I see this darkness encroaching upon the village. I see the massacre. I see vast pools of blood and bodies stacked on top of them. I see a woman in a blood-soaked kimono, laughing a deranged laugh. I see a pair of twins, young girls begging for their lives to be spared. I can still hear that woman's laughter ringing inside my ears. I don't want to fall asleep again. I'm too scared. Yeah, I can't say I blame you. I wouldn't want to fall asleep in this environment either. I was not aware till just now that she can crawl.
お姉ちゃん、ミオ。
Well, that was rude.
あんまり奥に行かない方がいいと思う。
Well, I mean, if you're gonna go through hell, you might as well go all the way through hell.
開かない。
The door is stuck.
お姉ちゃん。
Unfortunately, something that it doesn't seem Lyall fixed either, at least not yet, or, you know, customized, or at the very least, I also hope is officially patched in. Pull the camera back just a little more. Or at least give the option to. I understand there's probably going to be graphical anomalies if you pull it too far back, but come on. There's a padlock engraved with the Miyoga motif on the door. Use the Miyoga motif key. Miyoga, I'm probably murdering that, but oh well.
ここ少し寒い。
Camera Obscura memo. A memo found in the Osaka's house's elder room outlining the functionality of the Camera Obscura. The Camera Obscura is a photographic device designed by Dr. Kunihiko Aso to capture spiritual beings that are typically imperceptible to the human eye. Specifically, it is capable of revealing the following: past events as contained residual emotional energy, invisible apparitions, though I am certain it can capture even more than that. Photographing these supernatural phenomena that defy conventional thought enables the wielder to achieve an effect akin to a traditional exorcism. However, this process also establishes a bond with the subject. As a result, judicious use of the camera obscura is required, otherwise these apparitions may take over the user. One can only imagine what this gadget can unearth if it were to photograph the hidden ceremony that takes place in NCainXCI village, as well as the locations that are central to the residents' faith. I believe I can speak for myself and the good doctor when I say that the possibilities intrigue me. Seijiro Makabe. Makabe? Yeah. Okay, yeah, seems like Makabe. Subtle.
これがありえないものを映す機械、遮影機。 にこれはあまりにも危険なものだ。
射撃ミオ、それって。
Camera obscura, a camera that was left behind in the village. It can photograph things the eye cannot see. Village photographs. Several printed photographs showing parts of the village. Were they taken with this camera? Type 07 film. Old film for the camera obscura. There is plenty remaining. It's in bad shape, but still usable. Shooting photographs. Raise camera obscura with the right click. Shoot with left. Camera's focus will gradually adjust as you keep the target in view. Once you've taken a picture, you'll need to wait for the photo to charge before you can shoot another photograph. Controls can be changed under the options. Viewing photographs. Pictures that you've taken can be viewed and managed with the menu screen tab. I read about some complaints as to the camera obscura being changed around, made more difficult or whatever. I don't know if they were playing on battle difficulty or whatever so on. I mean, it's challenging. I still managed to go through this demo on the first try as basically an absolute newbie. You playing on battle, so either a learning curve or some people dealing with differences as far as health, this, that, or the other, or just struggling with controls. Something to keep in mind. Like I said, for me personally with mouse and keyboard, I'm able to handle myself. I'm also more learned as far as when to dodge.
そのカメラまだ使えるのかな。誰かいる。
They're here. Alright, shoot photo, special shot. I'm still kind of confused as to... I mean, I know that either the health or the willpower or whatever goes down when you do it. I don't know if that's supposed to add more damage or what. And obviously focus and zoom won't be a thing until the full release, along with the switching the filter. Okay, flashlight off, look around, blah, 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 blah. Well, let's get the shit scared out of us. Come on, bitch. Motherfucker. Olay, motherfucker. Come on, open up them pretty pearlies. With the camera obscura raised, the light on top of the camera obscura indicates the direction of the spirits you can photograph. If the spirit is a wraith, the light will turn red. Okay, well, exploring, you do, okay. There's an indicator displayed at the edge. However, this indicator is not displayed for a race you haven't discovered yet. Okay. Repelling wraiths. You can fight back against wraiths by taking pictures of them with the camera obscura. You can repel a wraith by lowering its HP, and blah, blah, blah. Higher the quality of a photograph is, the more damage it will deal. Keys to good photographs: correct focus, multiple key elements in frame. As you keep a target in frame, the camera obscura will gradually bring it into focus. You can unlock the ability to adjust the camera obscura's focus manually through upgrades. You can also lock onto a wraith to automatically keep it in frame. However, lock on is released when the wraith vanishes. Okay, that is something I need to keep in mind, because I have been wanting to test that out, but I was unsure about that. As much as I've read that, I haven't really taken it in. Okay, lock on using G. You will be downed if you are attacked by a wraith while you have no willpower. Willpower is depleted with the following actions: being hit by attacks, touching wraiths, running during combat, evading. Excuse me. Willpower is restored through the following actions: photographing wraiths, passing time, using lunar incense. Jesus, camera. You know, under normal circumstances, I'd be screaming in agreement. Okay. Alright, leave the house. Loading. Okay, holding Maya's hand, blah 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 blah. Protecting Maya. When a wraith attacks Maya, you can photograph it to protect her. Maya's health reaching 0 will result in a game over. Holding hands with Maya. While holding hands with Maya, you gain the following effects: willpower recovers faster, health gradually regenerates. Okay. While I don't necessarily disagree with the notion of an optional toggle, I mean, personally, the way I play, holding your hand is hardly the end of the world. Woman, second floor. Specters. Specters are a type of spirit that repeat actions they performed while still alive. The camera obscura marks specters as blue. Successfully photographing a specter will add it to the spirit list located in the menu screen. Open with tab. Okay. Sufficiently creepy. Alright. Tab. Seeing as we're getting closer to the end now. Oh, yeah. I didn't even look at this first time. Okay. Photograph labeled Yukushima on the back. It shows a small island floating in a pond and a bridge leading to it. Been there. Creepy place. Seriously, even without anything there, that shit's so fucking unnerving. Photograph labeled Deep Path Entrance on the back. It appears to be a place called Kaido, showing a ladder leading into a deep underground. Umbral Mound Ceremony. Photograph labeled Umbral Mound appears to be okay. That's got nope written on it. Seriously, it does not have nope. You can see the nope. Okay, files. Files, I said. Okay, wraiths. The Wanderer. Miyako Sudo. She came to the village in search of her lost lover, only to be murdered by his spirit and condemned to wander the Osaka house. Okay. Miyako Sudo roams the house, chasing the shadow of her lover. She tries to draw Mio and Mayu to the second floor so she can tell them her tale. Okay, E. Okay, now I've gotten through that. Yeah, initially, before even Vitali's first FPS unlocker that was available, You could technically unlock the frame rate, but there's like some kind of either scripting bug or arbitrary restriction that at this point you could go upstairs, but you couldn't open the door, and you also couldn't hold May's hand. I don't know if that's a scripting bug, because like for me, I even tried restricting the frame rate after the fact using RTX to 60 or 30. Didn't make a single difference. Nothing started working again, which makes me think it's a scripting bug. Fuck you too. Okay. Woman's Notebook 5, a notebook appearing to belong to a woman who wandered into the Minakami village. The entry sees the author lamenting her inability to leave the village. How long have I been in this village now? I have no idea. The sun never rises here. It's always night. I hate the dark now. I can feel it driving me insane. I want to leave. I want to see Masumi. Please. Please. Your prince is in a... Well, I can't even make a Mario joke here considering how the dark that comes across. You mean besides the specter visual? Yeah, I can see why you'd say that. Door's stuck. Okay, medicinal pills consumed to restore health. Healing items. You can use items to heal Mio's health. Change item. I'm right here. Stone mirror. A stone that gives off a strange light. When you restore your health, 0. Okay. I'm just gonna do this for the sake of showing it. As far as I know, I don't have the filter necessary to actually finish this off. Yeah, I don't have the filter necessary. I did miss grabbing the photos of the dolls, so oh well. But yeah, if you go downstairs, you can photograph the dolls. And apparently there's more spread throughout the village. Let's get creeped out. Woman's Notebook 9. A notebook appearing to belong to a woman who wandered into the Minakami village. The text of this final entry is abruptly written in parts. I can't move anymore. I'll just stay here. I know Masumi will come back for me. He just needs to find a way out of the village first. If Masumi comes back for me, I'm going. He came back. Seriously, you would have had to pay me to turn to the side. Fatal frame. If you strike first, wraiths will attack you without even if you okay, however, if you take a photo at the moment the red light on the top of it flashes, you can stagger them. Okay, Shatter Chance. Once you've inflicted a sufficient amount of damage on a wraith, it will become defenseless, activating a Shatter Chance. Shooting a photo of a wraith in this state will inflict significant damage on it. The wraith will return to normal once you've taken a picture. Furthermore, successfully taking a fatal frame while a wraith is vulnerable to Shatter Chance will activate Fatal Time, giving you an opportunity to take multiple photos in quick succession. Pictures taken during these automatic release, type 0. Type 07. Fuck's sake, yes, I get it, I remember. That is something that slightly annoys me. Some of the tutorialing is a little poorly timed. You think you're cheeky, don't you? Okay, that was lucky. Ping me. Come on. Oh wow, damn. Okay, I think that pissed her off. See ya, bitch. Okay, so the G is actually really good to use. Chapter 2, The Twin Maidens. Search for Mayu. Okay, so I'm back to full. bitch ditched me. Fuck you. Spirit Stone Radio. An old radio for Spirit Stones. Sometimes you can hear a mysterious voice emanating from it. Spirit Stone Radio Memo. A memo outlining the functionality of the Spirit Stone Radio, evidently created by the same person who invented the camera obscura. Spirit Stone Radio Memo. The Spirit Stone Radio takes the basic concept of crystal radio, which uses crystals and parts of its circuitry to pick up signals, and upgrades it to enable voices to be heard from the spirit realm. Those voices come from crystals and other such minerals that were previously worn by people for extended periods of time. After prolonged contact, the owner's emotions become embedded into these rocks, releasing a special kind of light invisible to humans. Such stones are referred to as spirit stones. But according to Dr. Iso, sounds emitted from the spirit realm can sometimes be heard without the aid of radio. Premonitions, the ability to sense others, and synchronicity, similar to those found in twins, are all things attributable to these sounds. Mayu's charm, it's the charm Mayu is wearing. Perhaps it holds her thoughts. Equipping charms confers their blessings upon you. A charm bag will increase the number of charms that you can equip.
これお姉ちゃんの。
Sufficiently creepy. God, if I was trying to play this without English subtitles, I would be... Actually, I forgot about that. If I was trying to play this without English subtitles, I'd be even more freaked out. Well, fuck you too, bitch. Thank you for playing. Available March 12th, 2026. Wanted to get this out before the game's release, so I had intended to get it out earlier, but like I said, recording conundrums again. For as much as I love Magic YUV, I really do have some issues recording with other games. Partly probably due to my CPU being, powerful, but not powerful enough for what I'm trying to do. Oh well, either way. This is the end of the demo experience. The rest of the full version. Save data from the demo can be carried over to the full. What does that include? I'm still kind of confused as to what that's supposed to include, though. The rest of the Type 07 ammo, stock, etc. Alrighty, and that was the Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly Remake demo. I have gone through this demo a number of times. I've decided I'm not going to include the village bit and whatnot, because I would actually encourage you to check it out yourself. You can, though the way it's designed, it almost feels like an accident. Like it wasn't intended to be that explorable outside of that particular area. Personally, if I was in their shoes, I wouldn't have. I would have just cut off that general area. Excuse me. But yeah, I'm leaving it out because it's kind of slow moving and it was fun the first time. Now it'll just be kind of tedious. But yeah, I really enjoyed what I play. For me, I more or less consider this the definitive version to play going forward, unless a remaster of true to form, just like remaster of the previous games comes out a few years from now and stuff like that. I don't know why they would do that though, considering we've got the remakes. But yeah, as somebody who has seen footage of both the emulated version of the Wii remake, footage of Wii remake itself, and the previous, this is a significant step up. Fuck what you heard from any other whiners and stuff like that. Like I said, as far as I'm concerned, this is pretty much going to be the definitive modern way to play going forward and whatnot. Really, you're technically not going to be missing too much more from the originals, considering this is going to be expanded. But anywho, oh yeah, as per the cutscene dips and stuff like that, that's new for me. It could just possibly be the NVIDIA graphics driver. Yeah, it could just be the NVIDIA graphics driver. Previously, I only had issues with recording the cutscenes, the footage, having jitter drops and stuff like that. That was just because of my recording process. The cutscenes themselves were actually smooth, outside of the 30 FPS jitter and shit like that I hope gets patched out later on. Many thanks to Lyall for the new refined FPS unlocker and whatnot. Hopefully more gets added to it, and maybe even, a cutscene upgrade as well. Because, like I said, I can't let that go. That should not be a thing. But yeah, I do hope officially an option gets patched in, either for variable frame rate and stuff like that, because I get the engine's limitations, but the whole point of making your engine look more appealing, your games more appealing and whatnot, is by fixing those shortcomings. But anyways, enough of my rambling, ranting, and stuff like that. I hope you enjoyed what you saw. Like I said, I definitely, this playthrough's locked for me. I'm getting this. I hope you enjoyed, and peace out for now.